I'm Timothy Go, testing out the new Oppo Reno5 Pro 5G. Just testing out the selfie features of the camera, but we're going to go through all the four lenses and see how it performs in this kind of condition with the battery as well, coming down under 5,000 milliamp an hour. Is it going to last you a whole day? We're going to figure that out right now. Let's talk about the design first. Oppo has moved away from the matte plastic bag that they used in the Reno4 Pro, and now there's a nice glossy Corning Gorilla Glass 5 back that feels great in the hands. The phone itself is pretty slim and very lightweight, which might feel a little less premium due to the lack of heft. There's a quad camera array on the back with a 64 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel mono lens. Photo quality is generally pretty good, and photos taken using the night mode are actually brightened considerably while still maintaining detail in dark shadowed areas. Something we don't quite like about the front-facing 32 megapixel selfie camera is that it's off to the side. It is discreet, yeah, but it also means that it's harder to frame yourself directly in the center of the shot. I guess we'll have to wait till those under-display cameras finally come to the market. One of the latest trends with smartphones for this season is a dual view camera, which is what Oppo is calling their version of it. Others call it director's view, but essentially what you have is two cameras on and recording at the same time. One looking at me, one looking at the other person. Most of you will be more familiar with something called #duet. If you're on TikTok, that means there are two faces on the same screen, and this is what exactly dual view on the Oppo Reno5 Pro 5G is doing. It's perfect when you're doing interviews because you can see me talking and doing things, and you can see the other person on the other side of the camera also responding to what you're doing. So you don't need two cameras to put two interviews together, and it appears as two boxes on your phone. So that's the dual view. It is a trend. It is useful for vloggers. It is useful for doing interviews. It is useful for singing or dancing together. And we'll see if this trend will last in the next generation of smartphones. Another trend with smartphone cameras these days is this. The camera housing, which is now not discreet. It's now there, meant for you to see that there are four lenses. This one is not executed in a sophisticated manner. More design needs to come into this, but it's what all the other phones have in a nicer way. Now let's talk about the battery. At 4,350 milliamp an hour, it is quite powerful. It will last you an entire day of normal usage if you are a normal person who uses your smartphone a normal way, but many of you are not. With the Trace Together app in Singapore always on in the background of our phone as well using Bluetooth, that may not be enough, and you will need to charge sometime in the later part of the day. Now don't worry, because the Oppo Reno5 Pro comes with a 65-watt charger in the box. It's fast charging as well. But it would have been nice to have wireless charging for those who need the convenience of going wireless. The battery does last for slightly under a day because 5G drains a phone's battery quite quickly. It has nothing to do with the Reno5 Pro's 5G though. It is just the nature of the beast with 5G right now. You'll most likely have to give the phone a top up midway through the day if you're planning on using 5G. The screen is a 6.5-inch AMOLED display with a 90Hz refresh rate and 180Hz touch sampling rate. Colors are vibrant, browsing content is fluid and responsive, and all in all, it is a great display. Well, using it in a bright daytime sunlight like it is today, the screen is very decent. Bright enough, though it also warms up quite fast because of the way I'm using the phone. Inside, you get the Dimensity 1000 Plus chipset that provides 5G capability, 12 gig of RAM, and 156 gig of non-expandable storage. Phone performance is also great. The 12 gig of RAM means that the phone is snappy and fast. and that the new processor makes the Reno5 Pro 5G an upgrade of the Reno 4 Pro, especially since they cost the same at about 899 Sing dollars. But when you think about it, you add a little bit more, $300, $400 more, you might get yourself the basic model of the flagship range of another brand, though that may not come with a charger. Something to think about.